just was looking at the shareholding pattern, and we have a disclosure that's coming in from renowned investor, Mr. Ashish Kacholia and his firm. They've gone ahead and sold a couple of percentage points in the company. Volumes have been rather high as well in the last few days. Have you heard from the investor? Because they hold another 3% still in the company. Do they have intention of selling out? Your comment?
Yeah, so I believe there is always a right time an investor feels where he wants to sell it. I would not personally would like to comment on anybody, but as a Kacholia and his company has been a long-term investor. They've been around for many years in the company. I think when probably the share price was probably 1/3 approximately. But I think what we know, it is they are long-term players. It is at appropriate time they feel that they want to sell some percent or stake, but that's fair enough. They've been holding it for a while. But overall, they are long-term investors, and what sources we know, they don't have any plans to shell out anymore.
Okay, all right. And wouldn't you want to be a buyer if, in fact, they are selling, or do you have any idea of who's the buyer of all this 2.5% that's been sold?
No, unfortunately, Nigel, I've been too bogged down with my company's activities on expansion. So I think I have very little knowledge what's happening at the stock market side.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about your company then, Mr. Parekh. We'll get to the expansion bit in just a bit, but I just wanted to know what exactly your current capacity utilization is, because you had indicated that it had risen all the way to around 95%. So that's almost, full capacity. Where exactly does it stand at this point, and what exactly is business on the ground looking like, say, compared to Q3?
Right. So I think it's a very good question which you had asked me last time. We have already expanded another 100,000 sinks, which takes us to 600,000 sinks annual capacity, which we already started. We already commenced our production, which we have announced. We are gaining a lot of traction in our business in India and from the international market. So we have decided to expand another 100,000 sinks, which we had disclosed. So I think our quartz business is, gaining traction. I think our real aim right now is to how do we do this in a shortest possible time. It's normally a 6-8 month story before you start any production. But I think heads off to our team, we've been able to do the first 100,000 in less than 4 months' time, and we planned the second 100,000 probably by end of quarter one of 21-22.
Okay. I'm just particularly referring to the capacity utilization. If you could just elaborate where exactly things stand in terms of, what your capacity is right now, what the utilization levels are, and what kind of demand are you seeing as compared to Q3?
So I think, to be honest, I think we have a huge backlog lying our factory. We are working in 3 shifts, 24 hours. Back to back, so we are currently at whatever we creating capacities are going 100%. So we are trying to create more and more capacities. Demand comparatively from the quarter 3 is still rising. We've been seeing a demand rising in demand for quartz since quarter on quarter.
All right. All right. So Chirag, we get that point. You're at around 100% capacity utilization, right?
Right.
All right. You said you've added 100,000 in the past month, and you will be adding another 100,000 somewhere in the middle of the next fiscal year. So given that you're saying that demand is strong, and there's so much of talk about, big demand in terms of real estate, tell us what kind of a revenue number can you give us for FY22 by the end of it? What kind of a revenue number will you end up with? And also for FY23, given that you'll have nearly around 200,000 additional capacity that will be on stream. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I believe that if we are going at the rate of, I think, on a 30%, increase in sales, quarter on quarter. We see we should, I think, land up in FY22 approximately about 40 to 50% higher over last year. That's what I think, but I mean, Nigel, again, I think, we are all, I think, one thing we have seen is that in this pandemic times, the people, we have a new normal now that we've been asking people the spike in demand and I think the whole home improvement category has
absolutely. Chirag, the reason that we also invited you was because home improvement as a theme is seeing so much of demand. So if you could get a couple of numbers out then for for FY22, will you be looking at around 400 crores or is that a story of FY23? A couple of revenue numbers. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I think, Nigel, our focus is more on how do we expand our capacities to meet the demands. I believe that the number, whether it's 400 or 400 plus, whatever, I think that's, that probably would be the outcome of what we eventually going to, what we're going to eventually get our capacity in place. But coming back on the demand side, there is the new normal, which I've been always saying. The last interview also I said that, or in my show I said that this new normal is people renovating, homes. They try to work from home culture. So we don't see this as a temporary demand. I think for me and our team, I think it's going to be pretty long term in that sense, which is, I think, good for our category.